Cool, let's take a couple backstrokes. And that's good. Just get back in the main flow here. This past winter, I know a lot of new channels were formed. So a lot of, like up there at the Boulder Garden where you saw that wood, that's all brand new. None of that was here last year. The channels were very different. Like it's carving a new path. So it's still kind of figuring out where it wants to set up. Lots of new channels coming and going. So this is a spot down here where we used to come and let people jump off these cliffs down here. And the water used to be super deep. It was like 20 to 30 feet deep. And now a lot of the sediments come in and filled it in. And in some spots, it's only like a foot deep. So no more jumping, but this is still a good place to go swimming. All right, give me 2 forward.
That's very emotional for me. It just brings a smile to my face because all of the things they said we would see, the sediment transport, the woody debris transport, the braiding of the river, they're all happening now. So it's we're starting to see the river come back to what it used to be like before. And, you know, part of that nature is it's constantly changing, and it'll be constantly changing. Those are important factors for restoring salmon runs, and the speed with which it's happening is very impressive and very good for, you know, how the future looks for the river. It's one of the best protected and least developed rivers, so we'll honestly be able to see how much a river can be restored and what it's capable of doing when it's fully restored.
We're really at the beginning. A lot of people think that once the dams are gone, maybe that's the end of the story. That's really just the beginning of the story, because it may take decades in order to recover the river fully. But it's already coming back fast. The salmon are coming upstream in the hundreds, if not thousands, beyond the lower dam site. So next year really should be the first full year where the river will be back, and we'll have to track the salmon up there and all the animals that come down and feed on them. This is not about all dams in all places. In Washington also relies a lot on hydropower from major dams. It is saying, though, that if you're going to mess with the river, you ought to take care of the fish in it. Because what we found over time is that if you don't take care of the fish, especially the salmon as kind of that keystone species, then in fact you're hurting the fisheries economy, you're hurting the recreation economy, or communities that relied on that as their food source. And we're seeing in the Elwah is a great recovery, but I think it is a lesson about how we need to look for ways to live with nature and not pick winners and losers of parts of nature. It's going to be good for recreation, it's going to be good for fishing, and it will be very good for the lower Elwah Clallam to recover their economy and their way of life based on the fish coming by. So this is really important for the Olympic Peninsula. Going into the 21st century, this is really the way to see the next century and beyond that as a place that people want to call home and want to come and see.